Good evening. Now, would you believe that was a fabrication? I wish I could remember all those stories. Anyway, Matt.
I mean, we could just pull up the show.
I know,
it's
but I
out
want
there.
I feel like I should just get Onion headlines and just read those, or the ones off Not the Onion. Same thing. Anyway, Matt. Hello.
Hello there.
Kenobi.
General Kenobi.
Hello. So, what are we doing?
Gamers 2 podcast. November 23rd. Not the 22nd, the 23rd. Yeah. A day late and $1 short.
Nice. I like it. So what have you been up to in the nerddom the last 7 days?
Watching the animes. That weeb shit.
I'm on that weeb shit.
I'm on that weeb shit. Which it's the huge, still continuing out. The only thing that's current that I'm watching is Ace of the Diamond, the baseball anime. Still going.
Interesting.
Still going.
Well, not interesting that it's still going. Interesting you're not watching.
What's that?
Interesting that you're not watching.
That I'm not watching?
Yeah, that's what you said, right?
No, I am watching. That's the only thing that's current that I'm watching.
Oh, never mind then. I reversed those words in my head.
It's good. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Have they won it all yet?
Yeah, they've won every single game. They're having a weird season. Not a weird season. Their goal is to get to the national championships, obviously. They've just won every single game up until this point. So, like, that's scary, you know? What else? Other than that, I've just been playing Fallen Order. And it's going, you know. I think I will be done with it very, very shortly. My frustration levels with it have dimmed because I've got accustomed to cheesing certain things, as we were talking about earlier. I think some portions of the game are some parts of the game are a little broken.
Once you understand that you were looking for Gouda and not Monterey, everything becomes easier.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Cheese jokes.
Yeah, it's all right. I don't know. I don't know how much you want to get into it, but
I mean, do we have a story about it?
not really. No.
We can get into it if you want to. Because it's something I've been playing as well.
Yeah. I think our arguments are obvious. Like my big thing with it is that people are overhyped on it. Like
So I think I agree. But I've also seen the non-early copies, to say the non-influencer words start coming out. And everybody's like Jedi fallen down and can't get up because that's just... So it seems like there was the initial wave of reviewers that were like, oh, Star Wars. And then there was everybody else who went, Star Wars?
There's two types of people that have played this game.
I like it. We're into the 2-type category.
The first type is the people who are looking at it from the lens of all the other previous Star Wars games that have come out recently and looking at it with those contacts. So to them, this looks like the golden egg.
It is the
best, golden ticket.
It is the best of the last 3.
Yeah. And they're like, oh my God, this is so fantastic because all the other ones sucked.
2? Last 2? No, 3. I'm going to count this one as number 3. Best of the last 3.
And then there's everyone else who is looking at the game as a video game. And are like, okay, it's cool, but it's got this problem, and the story is mega cliche.
Yes.
So that's where I'm at.
Take a guess which camp we fall in.
I love Star Wars. I think the environment is awesome. The game looks beautiful.
Yes, the game does look beautiful. I do agree. I wish they had slightly comic-esque or something Deborah Wilson's eyes because they creep me out. I feel like they want to attack me. I feel like they want to be like those plants on those levels where they seek me out and they follow me. I feel like her eyes are going to do the exact same thing. They're going to pop out of her head and just...
Yeah.
And then, I don't know if it happened for you, but in the Ninth Sister fight, or the Ninth Sister cutscene, when she's on the ship, like, talking to you, shoulders up, not textured. Like, there were textures, but they clearly were not finalized, and they were very... just blotchy and, like, not done.
I didn't have that specific issues, but yes, texture pop is a serious issue.
Yeah.
I don't want to say serious issue.
Like
it's an issue.
When they showed the back of her, everything would kind of be fixed. And they showed the front of her, and right where her like visor, that's not a visor, and face and everything, you're like, that's not textured.
My biggest issue is with the hitboxes. And maybe they're not synced up with what you're seeing visually. That's the thing that's been pissing me off the most.
That, and going back to the Ninth Sister fight. I mean, I've had other problems throughout the entire game, but this is the one that's fresh in my head. Yeah. It's the last thing that I did. The Ninth Sister fight, again, I don't know if they scaled lightsaber reach to your character model. And so therefore, if you're a bigger character, you have a bigger lightsaber. Therefore, you have a bigger reach. That might be possible. But it shouldn't impact the size of your lightsaber. Yes, you should have more reach if you are a bigger character, like with longer arms or whatever. But your lightsaber shouldn't be longer. And there were definite moments in the Ninth Sister fight where she would make an attack that would be like her straight stab one, right? And I would dodge backwards and still act like I got run through halfway down the lightsaber. And I'm like, that did not hit me.
Yeah, that's my issues with the dodging, essentially. So, like, there'll be times where I will dodge, and visually what I'm seeing on screen, I clearly got out of the way. And then I would take damage and be staggered or whatever. And then there was times where I would clearly still be basically inside the fucking character model of the other thing I'm fighting.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't register. So, like, we were talking earlier, but, like, what I found was that when I was targeting an enemy and fighting it, if I dodged away, I never dodged away far enough. I was always if just barely inside its reach.
If you did the lock-on mechanic that they have.
If I fought them untargeted, I could get away every time. And it might be because of, like, when you're untargeted, there's a level of randomness as to where you're going to dodge to.
Right.
Whereas when you're facing them and locked onto them, like, you're kind of more confined.
They want you to dodge like you're playing a fencing match where the moment you're not locked in anymore, you're allowed to literally just sprint away.
Yeah. And the other issue I'm having, and it's kind of related to the hitbox and collision stuff, is with the free running, jumping, all that good stuff. Like,
oh, God, I had a moment leading up to the Ninth Sister fight where I was like, all right, run, wall run, jump, reach for the rope, I missed.
Yeah, like
jump, reach for the missed it again.
The jumps are wicked inconsistent, and it has some of the classic Assassin's Creed issues to where, like,
yes,
the free running system is not tuned enough for the world and the environment that they've created, or, you know, whatever combination of things you want to stick in there.
There was a picture, I think we've seen it. I don't remember if it's on our Discord or what it was, or if you sent it to me or something, but it's the little stick figure that's dressed up like Assassin's Creed, and he's climbing up the wall, and then all of a sudden he just lunges into nothing. You think you remember that one that I'm talking about? It's the 4-panel.
Yep.
And he climbs, then nothing, and the next shot is the controller like through the screen or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, because there are moments where you're on the vine and he does the reach out, like, yep, that's where I need to go. And I'm like, I clearly see where I'm supposed to go. Jump. And I missed. All right, well, don't know where I was supposed to be. Then I go up and do it again, and it turns out that I needed to be 2 pixels higher than where I was. And I'm like, oh, that's dumb as shit.
There's, so those are my main concerns with the game. And so far, I wouldn't say, and our next episode that our bonus episode, I'll go a little bit more into some stuff with it, but because it's relevant to Game of the Year stuff, but.
It might be relevant for our Game of the Year because our Game of the Year is calculated differently than the Game of the Year we're going to talk about. Our Game of the Year expands to everything that was released from January 1st, 2019 to December 31st, 2019, where the Game Awards cut off right before Fallen Order came out. So it will not be in this year's
Day of.
Oh, day of, yeah.
Yeah.
So it will not be in this year's Game of the Year categories for the Game Awards.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely not getting in next year because of Cyberpunk and everything else.
I am enjoying it. Like, I'm not regretting playing it.
Right.
I would say at the moment, I would say like a 6.5 for me.
Really?
Okay. Maybe a 7. We'll see.
I'm probably honestly in like the 8 category.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Give it an 8?
8 because for all the technical flaws that I have, it's still good. Like, that to be said, we're playing on PC, so I'm not seeing these terrible load times that I'm talking about, that I've like seen people mention, and I'm also not seeing. I haven't fallen through the world yet.
I haven't had any game breaking issues other than I've had it crash on me twice.
I haven't crashed yet,
which is I am 85% sure that it's specific to my system, and it's the CPU thing to where
throttling, isn't it? Not
necessarily throttling. I get stutters. Like, there'll be times where I get that hard stutter that lasts for like 15, 20 seconds, and sometimes it'll be up to 30 seconds, and then sometimes if it goes past that, I'm like, which it has that 2 times, it never recovers, and it's just stuck. Then I got to close it and reopen it.
Yeah, I haven't had that. I haven't crashed at all yet, but
but that's like specific, obviously, to my situation. There's something I want to say about. Oh, I give it such a low score mainly because the storyline's so cliche.
Right, which puts me to like 8 as a max, closer to 7.5 probably. But 8 is my. I only grade it if I do number scores. Unfortunately, I do it on half-point scales. I will not dip in 2.8s and shit like that.
Same.
But it is such a cliche story that we, always expect out of a Star Wars game, unfortunately. But it is also better than Battlefront 2's story.
Oh, for sure.
And it's still enough twists and turns, kind of, even though it's a generic story. There are two. I don't want to discuss complete spoilers, but there is the one thing that gets revealed kind of early that I'm like, oh my god, that's really the connection? Fuck this.
Yeah.
And then the other moment that like bummed me out is that cutscene I was just telling you about, where, and I mean bummed me out, not like it's depressing or anything, but I'm like, this is completely out for what I assumed this character is. It takes a complete 90-degree turn, and then you go back to that character and they're pretend like that never happened.
Mm-hmm.
There's a cutscene with a character that is kind of a hard ass and whatever, and then he has this really weird, random heart-to-heart moment, and then he's just a sarcastic asshole right afterwards, and I'm like, I don't want. Just be one.
Did the
It's not development if it just has that one moment. Anyway,
you've fought in an arena, right?
Yes.
Was that kind of out of nowheres?
Yes.
For you? Okay.
Because, and it actually pissed me off that it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Because when that getting there, the way you get there, I was dominating.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this fight is easy. I feel good. I feel like I'm doing stuff right. And then it's just, oh, well, you're not going to win this one.
Yeah.
We have to go put fucking plot armor on some horse shit.
Yeah. It's literally a plot fight and you can't win.
Yeah. And then the entire thing is a plot fight.
Yeah. But the reason why that happened, I was like, this is so, like, story-wise, I'm like, where did this come from? Like,
what's the reason it happened?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, so apparently
I'm done with it, and I don't know why I did that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we'll fucking skip over it for anyone, I guess, who might play the game. But
I'm assuming just bounty hunters, just like that word is why things happen, but we can discuss it later. But it's just, when I lost the fight, I was like, oh, okay, I was supposed to. And then I see what it did, and I go, really?
Yeah, there's a couple things.
It was Guarma. It was fucking Guarma.
Guarma.
Where it just goes, man, you're at least somewhat tolerating this game. What if we just yanked you right out of the damn thing? There's tunnels in that place. There are rooms that do not make any sense why you can go in there.
Yeah. There's
a vine rope swing.
Yeah.
Into a room in the hole.
Yeah.
That is maybe 2 characters deep.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's in it.
There's a couple parts in the game that are like that, where it's like they have a random tunnel that you can go into.
Yeah.
For no reason. It's just there. Like,
yeah, and I'm just like, did we forget to put a chest here? Is there supposed to be a chest here? Am I supposed to have an echo here? Is this just here? I don't know, man.
Same. So what else have you been playing besides for Fallen Order?
The fucking Spider Simulator.
Watching or reading.
Spiders, man.
Spider. Do you not like spiders?
No, I don't have a spider
it's
thing.
Just those ones.
It's just those enemies, because their timings are so terribly weird to judge.
Mm-hmm.
Even after killing however many I've killed at this point, I will avoid fighting them because I just don't want to deal with them.
You know which ones I have a problem with? The fucking snails.
Really?
The slugs.
I murder those things.
I don't have an issue with spiders. I don't know why, but something with the slugs, I just can't, like, I can't figure it out. I can't do it.
I'll say, because the spiders are, it's just the way they have some of their attack animations where I see them do the part where they kind of rear back a little bit. And I'm like, okay, they rear back, roll. And then they take a second hop before they actually attack you. They rear back and they go, hop, smack. And I'm like, why are you taking a double step?
Yeah.
What are you, taking a fucking Euro step? What is this, NBA? You taking layups out here? Stop that.
And there's
That's
a
traveling.
way to...
That's traveling, ref. Sir, please call that.
There's a way to one-shot them I've done a couple times where you get the cinematic kill and you can kill them one hit.
Oh. I haven't
and
done that yet.
I can't figure out, like,
how to
do it. Like, I've done it a couple times, but I can't figure out what I did to do it.
There was a moment, and if I didn't have to get past it for story, I would have ran away. There's a moment where you fight 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you're climbing the tree. There's a scene or a section with 3 of them and a slug.
Yeah, and then there's, like, on the next level up, there's like a bunch of the bumblebee things, the fireflies.
Yeah. So I'm down there fighting all 3 of them, and I'm just like, I hate my life. Because if it wasn't going to be like whatever experience or whatever, I would have just popped the lightsaber away and started just jumping through trees to get away.
Yeah.
The other thing that's disappointing is some of the coolest, speaking of that tree scene, I'm just going to rant on what I've played apparently, or what I've last played. That tree moment, a lot, like some of the coolest movements sequences happen in that tree, or at least up till that point happen in that tree. And you could set your controller down except for pressing A.
Yeah.
Like I get it, but there's entire sequences where you're fucking Sonic.
Yep. And it's almost like it's essentially a QuickTime event type thing.
It's a QuickTime event as Sonic.
Yeah.
Like that sounds weird to say in a Star Wars game. You are Sonic. You go, you hit the bumpers, same bumpers that are in Sonic. You get launched. It launches you right to the next one. That launches you somewhere else. You press A to wall run real quick. So you press A to grind on Sonic or whatever the translation is.
Yeah.
And then you land on that dirt, mud, whatever, and you start playing SSX Tricky, which I think is EA's way of saying we wanted to make Skate 4, but we can't, so here it is. And you're riding that, and I don't know if you caught on to this. At one point, you're not going downhill on that.
You're going up.
You're going uphill.
Yeah.
Sliding.
Mm-hmm.
With no problem. And I just went...
I noticed it. I didn't notice it when it was happening. I noticed it afterwards when I was looking at the map.
Yeah.
I was like, this goes uphill.
I think it was the very last section is the part where it happens. And as I was wall running to it, to do the double jump to land, I looked at it and I was like, that's flat. And then that part's up. I was like, am I going to have to run through this? And of course, nope, just surfing USA the whole way. I was like, I couldn't. 8 out of 10. I rate it higher than my Medal of Honor Warfighter review. That's a shot back way. That's a shot back way in the dark, but I think I put that as a 6.5.
Did you?
I'm
like...
Did some stuff fine. Multiplayer was trash. There were a lot of other problems, but that's a different discussion. I was actually experiencing problems where there wasn't the respawn enemy mechanic in this,
Mm-hmm.
but you could run past a checkpoint, and it wouldn't like in Call of Duty where there's the invisible checkpoints of they'll stop spawning enemies. In that Medal of Honor game, there were not. You'd run past it and start and kill everything past it and whatever. And then all of a sudden you get shot in the back.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I killed everything behind, and there's 30 guys behind you going like, what are you doing back here? Yeah.
I've noticed that I kind of I'm like really harsh on games sometimes. Like, I don't know.
No, that's not a bad thing. As long as you're consistent.
Yeah.
So when you give Half-Life a 10 out of 10, and I go, you're delusional, we move on.
Well, I was just trying to think of something I would give a 10 out of 10. And I think the only thing I can think of where I can confidently say I'd probably give it a 10 out of 10 would be God of War.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd come close on Red Dead probably too.
Red Dead I would. Red Dead is truly, to me, a masterpiece. It's just not...
There are definite moments where I'm like 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say it's a 10 out of 10 because it's not super approachable for everyone.
But anyway, that's it.
Yeah,
we'll get
digressing
to once
hardcore.
Again. We'll get into a second episode where we can get more into that. Yeah, Star Wars. Been playing that.
Mm-hmm.
Been playing. I haven't really played any more Need for Speed now that Star Wars has been out. That's kind of been the Origin launcher push for the time being. Stopped playing Call of Duty for a bit.
Taking a break or just sick of
it?
Or
we reached a couple nights in a row where we're just blood pressure goes up and we're like, all right, cool, talk to you later.
Yeah,
I understand. I need to just walk away, go back to playing Battlefield because I'm sick of people sitting in corners, claymores, yada yada. Typical Call of Duty problems that I always it's like going back to your abuser. It'll be different this time. It's not. It's not like going back to WoW, in which case I just hope that he got better drugs. That's a different thing. That's a drug dealer. Different discussion. So I've been playing that, hopping Borderlands every now and then. Played a little bit of the show today. Been playing the Pokemon Sword. I'm like halfway through, roughly, I think. Maybe a little bit below half.
Is there an estimate on how long that is? Or?
I think their estimates are like 16 to 18 hours, I think was what I remember seeing people saying when it first came out.
I'm liking all these games coming out that are like 20 hours, 25 hours.
Like, I mean, I wish Dewey was here just so I could make fun of him the entire time about his hate for this game and stuff like that. Because as much as I think is built up on internet hate, him and I are of the differing opinions on things, as you could see sometimes in the group chat.
Yeah.
But I've been enjoying it. I haven't had any problems with it. It's been fun to play.
I've seen some people at work have shown me some fun videos of
there's been some
was it the Wildlands you can call it, or the Wild?
Yeah.
Whatever they're called.
Yeah. Call it that.
Yeah.
Wildlands. Screw it. Tom Clancy's Pokemon Sword and Shield.
I
know exactly what you mean.
It's got a name, right?
Yeah, but I can't remember that.
Oh, okay.
The Wild? I don't know.
It's something.
Wild or Wildlands is pretty close.
It's like the Wilds or it's something I think like that.
They all sound good enough to me. Tom Clancy's Pokemon Sword and Shield.
So
Breakpoint. But yeah, it's there have been some other like video glitches that I've seen where I can't remember the name of the Pokemon, but it's the one we discussed where we discussed this weeks ago during the trailer, but he like would swallow a fish or whatever and then spit it back out at somebody.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the name of the move is now.
It's like a stork.
I was pumped. Yeah, but I was pumped about it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
There's a video where he catches a Pikachu in the mouth and then shoots the Pikachu back at you.
And that's not supposed to be a thing.
I don't know if that's supposed to be a thing or not, but if it is, it's awesome. It's just funny to me. I wouldn't even complain if that showed up. I'd be like, it's great. So yeah, it's been a fun time. I was playing a little bit today of trying to. I want to do more like Pokemon Dex things. I never usually bother with completing a Pokedex or even trying or anything, but because of the way the Wildlands works and stuff like that, screw it. It's the Wildlands. I fucking whatever. Because of the way that works, I just will go there and catch. Because it was all the stuff before where catching didn't give you experience.
Yeah.
But now that catching gives you experience, I'll just run around and catch all day. So I've just been trying to complete Pokedexes and stuff as I go. This silence brought to you by Nate drinking water.
Yeah, and me trying to figure out what the wildlands are actually called.
Tom Clancy's Pokemon Sword and Shield. That's the joke. All right. That, and then I think that's it. It's been a lot of Star Wars, Pokemon. Oh, okay. So yeah, I should talk about that.
That's you like my gesture. For, it was like
the best part was like as you pointed, all I could see was the Will Smith meme where you're just like, yeah. So Football Manager 2020 has been played. Hold on, I'm gonna go give myself a stat check. Moment of silence.
For fact checking, it is called Wild Area.
Wild Area. We're 11 hours into the Football Manager 2020 season, which means we're only 9 hours in. 2 hours were beta stuff. So
okay,
9 hours into the Football Manager 2020 season. I'm somewhere like 7th place in the league. Kenny's currently in 1st. He's had a great beginning of the year for him. I'm really proud. I'm happy. Hopefully this is the year that he wins the league over me. He's finished higher than me before.
Do you really hope that, though?
He's never won the league, but he has finished higher than me, I believe. But he has never managed to win the league. I have won the league.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be cool to see him be able to do it.
Is there any...
Especially with the squad in both of our current states where we're considering ourselves in kind of like a rebuild, retooling, where we both have okay squads, but we both agree we need to change up some players that are in them and whatever, when there are two powerhouse teams in Liverpool and Man City that I just beat Liverpool 3-0 and that's the game you watched or the end of as you came in.
Yeah.
And I was basically, I feel like I was pretty calm, but there was definite moments as I was scoring the goals in the game where I was just doing I'm just on the sideline running up and down doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Manager antics.
I wasn't sure until I got a clear look at the screen. I thought it was actually you were watching a soccer game. And it didn't help that you had...
I had a clip up on
an actual clip up on the other monitor. I was like, oh, he's just watching some soccer game. Must be something happening. And then I kind of looked at it and I was like...
And you realize that's clearly not good graphics at all. And
yeah, I was like, well, then I thought initially, I'm like, all right, it's a stream, it's a shitty stream.
Yeah.
And then there's like stats on this something going on or something. And I was like, oh, this is the Football Manager.
Yeah. this is the he who shall not be named.
The game that shall not be named.
Yeah.
Is there any glaring improvements, changes, anything like that you've noticed
There's some
right away?
Quality of life stuff in menus and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Contracts and how they deal with stuff like that. So now the contracts that we get as managers are no longer. They used to be just, here's how we want you to play football. We want you to play an attacking style, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And then each season, here's what we think you should be doing in terms of in the league, in this cup, like where we think you should finish, if we care at all, stuff like that. Now they've made our contracts in a way that show like a 5-year plan, kind of, where they're like, in season 1, this is what we think you can do.
Mm-hmm.
In season 2, we want you to be able to push further. And then in season 3, we're not too worried. And then season 4, we think you should do more. Like they break out predetermined almost, where they're like, this is what we actually think going forward, what you should be able to accomplish. And then it's the same thing kind of when you go back to players. We haven't gotten to a transfer period yet, so we haven't been able to sign anybody to actually like see it happen. But there are ways of like you could sign a younger player and be like, you're a younger player. In 2 years, I'm expecting you to be on the bench for me. By year 3, you should be starting.
Mm-hmm.
And you can put that all in their contract, so that way like all their expectations are actually met. And you're not having to just constantly re-sign new contract, yada, 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 and all this stuff. So there's been a lot of quality of life changes. We haven't done really any youth development either because we're just so new into the season, but that's entirely changed. But so far, we're not actually complaining too much.
That's good.
We've seen one-on-one goals go in. We've seen some balls get crossed back inside the box instead of blasted into the side netting. Not a lot, but some, which is an improvement. But yeah, we're getting there, and then after we finish recording, I'm going right back in. Recording both.
Getting the addiction is still there.
Oh, it never goes away. The problem usually becomes one of us gets like too busy or whatever, especially more around summertime.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I don't see a reason we would ever really stop playing if we could help it. I've always wondered sometimes why we keep buying the new one. I do wish the one thing that they could do, and maybe they will in a couple of years, is allow me to bring my save with me.
I'm surprised
with the new features on top of it.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't have that. But I guess I would. That's probably a lot of.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a lot of
stuff,
and you're dealing with people say yada yada yada. But it would be pretty cool to be able to do that. But yeah, so that's been what I've been doing.
Fantastic.
I've been watching Man in the High Castle. Halfway through the final season of that.
Did it drop all at once?
Yep.
Good on you. Good on you, Amazon.
It's a good time. I'm enjoying it. I think that's Mandalorian we've been watching. And I think that's it.
Yeah, The Mandalorian. I'm a big fan of that fight scene. I'm really thrilled that they did that because for the development of, what Mandalorians are.
I'm all down for what they did. Like I said, I just wish there was that one melee moment.
Yeah.
Of the forger that just walks out with these two melee weapons and hucks one and spears somebody to a wall.
Mm-hmm.
And then just goes buck wild on somebody else. But you only see it. All that entire shot takes 6 seconds.
Yeah.
And then you never see them again.
I just hope that they don't. I hope this isn't like the last time we see the Mandalorian community, I guess.
Yeah. My guess is it wouldn't be, only because they said you'd have, he mentions you'll have to
relocate.
Yeah. So I'm assuming he goes back to find them at some point.
Yeah, I hope so.
Especially after the Iron Man moment.
Well, that's the part that worries me, is because it was very much a send off. So it's like almost like saying, good luck.
It wasn't, but it also could have just been like, hey, we're fine down there now.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But that moment was also super. I'm like, Jon Favreau, come on now. We've done these shots. We know where you're pulling this from, bud.
Yeah.
We've watched Marvel.
Yeah. It wasn't, it was specifically the salute. Like, if they had just flown up alongside him and looked and could have done a little subtle head nod or
just
looked and then dipped away, it would be okay.
Or even just said,
what I don't know. It's like, this is the way. This is the way. That was it.
Yeah. Even he just looks at him, he just kind of does the nod. He goes, "This is the way. This is the way." Yeah. Cool. See you later.
Yeah.
But the Captain, see you later.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, what?
Yeah. It's interesting too, because the way they interacted, it's hard to discern if there's ranks.
Right.
So. Right. Anyways. Let's get the show all rolling with Nate's corner of new release goodness.
Good evening and welcome. I have many a ware for sale, Matthew.
Because you have ware
if you have coin. If you have lots of coin, you can buy my big #1 release. Google Stadia.
Google Stadia.
Stadia now has existed in the wild. I'm sure we're about to talk about it later.
We actually are not going to talk about it.
Okay, so apparently it sucks. But we warned you all about this for a while.
Yes, it's rough. Are they doing... If they do a trial, I want to try it, check it out, obviously. But,
yeah. It was my same thing where I was like, I kind of want to buy it just because I want to check it out, but I don't want to spend $130 to check it out. I just want to see how... I want to see it for myself. I want to put my hands on it.
Yeah. Same.
There is a free service called Rainway.
Okay.
That apparently has been getting a lot of attention, and after all these failures, about how good it can be. And it allows you to, from what I understand, Rainway would allow you to run your games on anything and also act as a single launcher. Like you would link all your accounts into it, and it would probably do its own kickoff of launching the other launchers.
I've never heard of this.
I hadn't either until I started seeing stuff on Twitter when I started seeing the input lag GIFs for Stadia.
Mm-hmm.
And there's obviously Project X Cloud and some other stuff that'll be on its way. Amazon, I'm sure, is about to walk into the same space with something too.
Yeah, we do have a little story on that one.
Oh, okay. But yeah, the Rainway one completely free, so it made me intrigued.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to remember just now. One of the funny things about Stadia is if you get Stadia and with the intentions of only using it with a browser, unlike say a PC,
right?
You still have to have a cell phone to set it up.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And it has to be a phone that
is
obviously
on their approved list or whatever.
Yeah, that can download the app and work it correctly.
Interesting.
Yes. I think that's
a massive oversight?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. It was like a huge oversight because that doesn't make any sense to me.
No. But speaking of other things that Khajiit has for sale, if you have coin.
Some of them that don't make sense.
What? Do I have things on here that don't make sense?
Well, yeah, the games themselves. Namely the second one.
Oh, sorry. Shenmue 3 is out for PlayStation and PC.
Which
I had a heart attack right there, Matt.
Why?
Shenmue 3 exists.
It does exist.
It's been the long-running joke since this show was created in 2017 that Shenmue 3 would not see the light of day. And for the better part of 2.5 years, it did not see the light of day. And as far as I'm concerned, whatever cave it came out of, it can crawl right back inside of.
I like that. You could say this is an episode of things that
don't make sense?
That all don't make sense, but also did not expect to ever see the light of day.
Is this the Were Gamers 2 Wrong? Question mark podcast title?
I don't know. It could be, I guess, for the clicks.
Yeah.
But sure are we ever wrong?
No. I spin every narrative, so I'm correct. Shenmue 3 should not see...
He could be a Republican.
Or just any politician.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's play the party lines here. I'm a politician at that point.
That's true.
I'm going to tell you what I want to your face, and then as you turn away, I stab you in the back. Number 3, speaking of stabbing friends in the back, Munchkin Quacked Quest for the PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. You know that card game Munchkin? You want to kind of play something similar to it, or at least made by the Steve Jackson people? There you go.
Munchkin's quite popular.
Yeah, it's ruined a lot of my friendships. And when I say ruined a lot of my friendships, ask a person you work with about Munchkin.
Ah.
You'll get some stories. Not from me specifically, but about how I've screwed them over.
Okay.
Potentially. We'll see. Number 4, The Curious Tale of the Stolen Pets for PlayStation. The World Rally Championship 8, FIA, don't know what that part stands for, World Rally Championship for the Switch. Did I say World Rally Championship twice? You bet your ass I did, but I didn't title their game.
I didn't notice that. It does say WRC, and then...
I don't know what FIA is, but...
It's the... It's
Federation of Internal Affairs.
Essentially, it's like Federation of International Automotive, but it's not in English, so it's like Federale. It's it's some
Federales.
It's some like French thing, I think, or something.
Anyway, yeah. So if you want to race rally style on the Switch, you can do it now. Number 6, The Children of Morta for the Switch. 7, you get Farmers Dynasty for PlayStation and Xbox.
That's a new one.
So here's the kick. I am always going to... If I see a farmer game...
Yeah, it's on the list.
It goes on the list.
Yeah.
Because we are sponsored by FarmersOnly.com.
I was going to say we were sponsored by Future Farmers of America.
Oh, both. They're all the same people. The people that are in that group...
They're all farmers.
Yeah, the people that are in that group are on Farmers Only. It's the old, I created a profile on Future Farmers of America. I couldn't find the love of my life because I swiped left on the wrong person. So I went to farmersonly.com so I could find the right one. I shouldn't make fun of farmers because they do a lot of good things. But at the same time, Farmers Dynasty for the PlayStation and Xbox. In case you ever got tired of doing the real field work, now you can do it on your console. Number 8, Narcos, Rise of the Cartels for the PlayStation and Switch.
Also farming.
In a way. Drugs, but yes. Mind you, this is on the Switch. Does that not, put a question mark in your head? Because it does on mine.
That is interesting.
Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts for the PlayStation Xbox. We watched the video. Thoughts?
I mean, initially...
I believe it's also out for the PC, but I'm not positive.
I mean, my gut reaction initially was a cheap version of Sniper Elite. But it looks like it could be fun. Not anything I would probably play, but it looks fun in a I would watch Sark play it sort of way.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd watch Sark play anything. So.
Yeah.
Number 10, Vader Immortal got its 3rd episode on PC and Oculus. Number 11, Debris for PlayStation. Number 12, Lost Ember for PlayStation. Number 13, we're going to Civ 6 for its PlayStation and Xbox debuts. Stretch goes to PlayStation. And Where the Water Tastes Like Wine goes to Switch.
What's that game about?
I'm sure it's artsy. I'm pretty sure. You did it. You've never done that. You're sitting in it.
Oh my God.
It's a proud dad moment. Or a confused dad moment, because I don't know why he's doing it.
Isn't that a bed for him?
That's why I have it up here. It was just because I don't think he likes the hard floor.
Mm-hmm.
He tries to be in warmer spots. Because even if I'm sitting here, right?
Yeah.
He will not come sit unless he thinks he's going to get in my lap. He will sit on the carpet outside the door and stare at me.
I wonder, it'd be really funny is if he does sit in it when you are on your computer and totally zoned
whenever
in.
I happen to glance over,
he just gets out real quick.
He's like, no, I'm on my carpet. I didn't move. What are you looking at me for?
That would be totally a cat thing though.
That'd be totally a Tom and Jerry cat thing though.
Yeah, I guess.
So to get into the actual news, do you want 1 or 2?
I guess I'll do 1.
Okay. All right.
We're a fan of video game accessibility, so we're going to tell you about Logitech's new adaptive gaming kit.
Way to just assume what I
did.
like.
I did assume hardcore.
Tell me I'm a fan of people playing video games, no matter if they have disabilities or not. Where did you get off? You think I support?
I don't
Extra
get off.
Life.
That's my secret.
Or other, the crash carts for kids. I don't know if you know what those are.
I don't. Oh yeah, no, I do. They're the ones in the hospitals.
Yeah, well, there's things called crash
game.
carts, which are not good.
Yeah,
but there's also things I think they call. I thought they were called crash carts.
I think they are,
but I know there's different versions of them. But they're basically fully done up cabinets on wheels that can wheel into children's hospital rooms that they can play video games on, and they can just wheel them around they're fully functioning. Individual cabinets. I think the only thing you might have to plug it into the wall or something, but they can just wheel. It has a TV on it and all the content. Those things are awesome.
That is, they're fantastic. And I don't have a need for one, but it would be cool to build one.
It'd be cool to build one, but I'd also just be down for giving one to a hospital.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder.
You can do it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder if there's ones that are I'm assuming there's organizations that
are specifically that do
make
that.
them and you donate.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to think of the name of Being Crash Cart, because there's definitely a organization that I know is associated directly with doing that.
Yeah,
I can't remember which. I don't think it's Child's Play. I don't remember which exact organization it is. But if it didn't cost me probably too much, and I think it does cost me too much for what I'm thinking, I would 100% drop one in a hospital.
Yeah. I'm assuming there's still a couple $1,000 just based on
my guess as well.
Yeah. Let's see here. So the Adaptive Gaming Kit is a collection of 12 buttons and triggers designed to work with Microsoft's Xbox Adaptive Controller to make gaming more accessible to people with disabilities. The buttons plug into the Adaptive Controller's 3.5mm jacks. The triggers plug in via USB, and all of them can then be mapped to different controller functions to play Xbox or PC games. I don't know, for some reason I must have forgotten, or I never read it somewhere. I for some reason didn't realize that the adaptive controller works on PC. I don't know why I never.
That's because you're ignorant, Matt.
That's very true. I'm very ignorant. Microsoft's Xbox adaptive controller has supported third-party inputs like these since launch, but Logitech's bundle is a far more affordable way to get yourself kitted out with a wide range of accessories. Previously, individual buttons would cost almost $50 each when bought directly from Microsoft. Logitech's kit, meanwhile, includes 3 small buttons, 3 large buttons, 4 light touch buttons, and 2 variable trigger controls, all for $100. Along with the buttons and triggers, the kit also includes 2 game mats, 1 rigid, 1 foldable, which you can use to arrange the buttons in a layout that works for you using the included Velcro ties. There are also stickers so you can label each accessory with the controller button it's mapped to. The adaptive gaming kit was developed in partnership with a number of accessibility groups, including the Able Gamers Charity, the Abilities
Good
Research
charity.
Center at Mount Sinai. Sinai?
That's how I would pronounce that.
Okay.
It's not Sinai, which is the other way I would say it.
Yes.
But, well, Mount Sinai is an actual...
Is it?
I'm pretty sure Mount Sinai has religious connotations to the name.
And Special Effect was the last charity.
Able Gamers. I don't know. Steve Spahn, I believe, is the...
Able Gamers I've heard of.
I believe it's Steve Spahn is the head of that one. Big advocate for accessibility.
Yeah.
Number 2. One of the most notable writers in video games has a new home. Today, Skydance Media announced a new internal studio that will be helmed by Amy Hennig, best known for her work on the Uncharted series. I'm going to sound disjointed because this woman has been rumored and bounced around for how many different studios now? Since
this
Uncharted?
One's number 4, I think.
We'll see.
Well, if we include the ones she actually bounced to for a very short amount of time, it's probably like 6.
Yeah. Henning will be joined by veteran EA producer Julian Beek, and the pair is building a new team in San Francisco. Why does everybody go to San Francisco?
I don't know. Like,
it's supposed to be stupid expensive.
Yeah, that came up. I can't remember which. It was Ubisoft, I think, maybe, who was like, we're not putting any more studios in the West Coast, basically, because it's too expensive.
Yeah. Anyway, with the goal of creating, and this is the other thing, you're going to do it with a new studio?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to risk? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I have some other stuff with this story as well. So,
all right. So
issues.
They are building a new team in San Francisco with the goal of creating narrative-focused games on, quote, emerging streaming platforms, end quote. Amy Hennig had this to say, quote, Julian and I are thrilled to be part of the Skydance creative team and excited to partner with Skydance to explore this new frontier in entertainment while pioneering new ways to tell immersive stories through technology. Our goal is to create inviting and innovative experiences with the high production values and visual fidelity that will set the standard in this new media landscape, end quote.
So, related to what you were saying about her jumping around or getting bounced around so much,
jump
and
around.
I don't recall ever reading anything about it. I don't know if you have, but like, I am starting to assume that she's somewhat difficult to work with.
That's what was told of her leaving Uncharted.
I know, but when it was just
one situation.
Yeah, when it was just the one situation, and it was just Naughty Dog and the main people, and it was rumored, and then no one corroborated that. I was like, all right, maybe there was a disagreement.
But now all this other stuff has happened. I've wondered the same thing as I've seen this news pop up and stuff like that. And people are like, I can't wait to see what she does and whatever. I'm like, it might not be what you guys remember, because it might. If it is potentially difficult to work with her, it will have ramifications.
I'm assuming that she's difficult to work with because she clearly is talented, but I'm assuming she knows she's talented, or she thinks she's more talented than she is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or there's all possibilities, and I don't want to keep speculating just into what.
completely speculating at this point.
Yeah, into what could go wrong or whatever, but it also could be a situation of too many hands in the pot, or one hand in too many pots type of thing, where she tries to get too involved in certain areas and then just
like
bogs
micromanaging.
Everything. Yeah, like bogs everything down.
I mean, that would fit the narrative based on Uncharted, all the games and when they were supposed to come out, based on when they came out.
Yeah,
I mean, for the one that she dealt with, I should say.
It's possible, but hey, we'll see. Maybe they'll make a streaming service exclusive. That's what it sounds like.
What was the one that was on Netflix? No, it was a Black Mirror. Was it a Black Mirror one? They did the interactive movie.
I've only watched a couple episodes of Black Mirror.
It was
though. I can't remember what it's called. No, it's not Black Mirror.
It was the creators of Black Mirror, I think.
Yeah, and oh god,
it was a movie though, and it was interactive. Yeah, but it was like a choose your own adventure type thing.
Yeah, it was. I think the creators of Black Mirror, but it wasn't Black Mirror.
Yeah, I remember.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the name.
I remember that's like she was upset, like she loved that, and she was going on about it at some talk that she had at one of the expos or conventions or whatever.
It would be interesting. I do want to mention, because we're not going to talk about it. Wait, are we about to talk about 1, 2, 3? I'll talk about it after 4. Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
I have a comment to make after story number 4.
Okay. We already number 3. 3. We already know that the PlayStation 5 is coming next year, and that its controller will have a few new features. Now we might have
new what
features.
All right.
I
don't know if we were
said
trading
features and futures together.
I don't know if we were trading stocks or not, so I was getting real confused.
Now we might have an idea of what the new controller could look like based on images from a patent filed in Japan. At first glance, the controller looks a lot like a DualShock 4, which isn't too surprising. We can see that a lot of elements carried over from the DS4, a similar looking D-pad, similar button placement, and what appears to be a touch bar. The grips seem to be a little wider and slightly more rounded, and there's a square-shaped piece under the PlayStation button, which is theorized to be a microphone. Looking at the controller from other angles reveals that the thumbsticks appear to be a bit shorter than those on the DS4. There's a USB-C port on the back, and apparently the light bar on the back of the controller is gone. We should note that this is a patent that was filed on March 20th of 2019, so there's a good chance that the design has changed somewhat. Do you want to see photos?
You can flash one at me quick.
Ooh, flashing.
Ooh, hey. It's a good thing we're a radio podcast, otherwise Twitch would ban me. Get it? It's a penis joke.
Well, all right.
I mean, I don't need to. I'm not going to need to see it too bad. Can we get rid of the touchpad? So I don't care that the light bar is gone. I actually liked the light bar. I thought it was a neat feature. Even though it didn't really do anything technically. It was just a nice little light indicator. But the touchpad was useless.
I agree.
I also think we can get rid of the speaker in the controller.
The speaker I'm on the fence about, because I actually enjoyed it when it was used well.
Just put it in the headphone jack and maybe put it in headphones. Don't have stuff just playing out of my speaker, because then in GTA, when you program it to only work out of the cell phone calls only work out of the controller, and then my controller stops playing audio out of it, I can't fucking hear Lester.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he's saying, and I just have to assume the phone call is going fine, and then go back to my hideout for the next mission.
What's funny to me is we're hitting a point where, like, I feel like the PlayStation controller and the Xbox controller are just merging into the same thing.
Well, I mean, yes, they are. I don't like the idea of lowering the thumbsticks. I'll say that.
Interesting.
I don't want them raised. But they don't need to be lowered.
See, we probably have different...
The lower you get, the closer you get to a Switch.
We probably have different opinions on this, because I have small hands. And I know you have, like, normal/larger sized hands.
All right, man. We don't even talk about my hands.
I have small hands. It's, Trump hands.
Yeah. All right, Kendall. But yeah, no, it's a thing of... the too small. You remember Vitas? Remember that time where they existed?
Vita what? Vita Island.
Yeah, Vita Island, man. Whew.
Got nukes.
Yeah, Vita Island got super nuked, especially after Gio Corsi walked away. Remember the C stick? The stick that was like your D-pad?
Oh, yeah.
That was really, really low.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you're pressing towards. I don't like it. Not you specifically.
Pressing towards the Steam controllers, what they're pressing towards.
Oh, yeah, to a haptic input? Yeah, that worked out real well. They couldn't give those away.
Are they still selling them?
GameStop might. I'm pretty sure they're all discontinued, but GameStop might have pallets of them that they can't get rid of.
Nice.
Number 4. Amazon is expected to announce its own game streaming offering next year and potentially launch it by Christmas. That's according to 2 sources familiar with the company's plans who spoke to CNET as part of the site's roundup of streaming strategies from the big players, including Google, Sony, and Microsoft. Rumors first emerged that Amazon was working on a streaming service earlier this year, and CNET reports it's now gearing up for an announcement. The company has also been reportedly hiring talent from major game firms, including Microsoft. Meanwhile, job listings for a new initiative within the Amazon Web Services team are believed to be for the streaming service. One of these suggested that Amazon will integrate the service into Twitch as well as some of its other businesses. Google has plans for similar integration between Stadia and YouTube. And for Nate's fun comment that he was going to make that has nothing to do directly with Amazon unless he leaves Google, whatever that guy's name is that launched Google also launched the Xbox One and the PS3. He is tied to the 3 worst console launches.
I got way bigger of a kick out of that than I probably should have.
I just saw it like randomly scrolling through Twitter, and I was like, that is fucking hysterical. I need to send that to Matt.
Yeah, I was kind of upset because like I never have, like I always see it and I think it's great and I want to share it with other people, but like no one else would appreciate it other than usually the person who fucking sent it to me.
Right.
So like I'm like, who do I show this to that'll think it's funny? No one.
Hello? Would anyone like to hear my story? This guy has a really bad business history. Hello?
But people keep hiring him.
Oh, yeah. He can keep getting jobs.
Uh,
Do you want to launch a brand new product and have it not sell well? Hire me.
That's crazy.
My business card includes the PS3 launch, the Xbox One launch, and the Google Stadia launch. Oh yeah, those are all pretty decent products. Don't talk about the launch periods though. That's all I'm saying. You know, nobody wants to remember that. Yeah, so Amazon thoughts. I'm assuming a low service version of it would be included in Amazon Prime. I'm assuming.
I think Amazon has a better shot of doing a successful version than Google does, actually. Amazon is like, apparently their
let's
cloud.
put it this way. I think they do now. I think if they were both racing at the same time, I wouldn't put either horse in front of the other. But now that Stadia came out of the gate, it looks like it has 2 gimp legs.
Yeah.
So at least a healthy, not injured horse should be able to run past it with no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But that horse might be Rainway. I'm just going to... It blows me away that there's this already free option that exists to do this. So that's why I keep mentioning Rainway. No way sponsored. Just funny to me that it's a free version that already exists. And Stadia is like, you guys want to pay $129 for a thing and a controller?
There's 2 things that come to mind immediately that I think give Amazon a leg up when it comes to cloud gaming.
Number 1.
One is apparently their cloud infrastructure is significantly larger than any other companies, including Google's.
Yeah, AWS is kind of massive. I actually have something to tell you about AWS after this podcast.
Yeah.
Discussion, though.
I knew that, but it didn't really come into context until I heard a thing about the military's contract they put out for cloud. And like I read a little bit, heard a little bit about it, and I was like, oh, fuck, like, whatever. The second thing is that Amazon is in a position to have more leverage over companies for negotiating purposes.
Oh yeah. They have a much bigger dick to swing, if you would use it in that term.
Yeah, they carry a very large stick.
Yeah. They don't speak softly though.
They don't.
I'm gonna beat you with this large stick.
So, they can make the deals to get this shit on their service if they had to.
Yeah,
so.
And I could definitely
threaten.
I could definitely see them saying, if you have Twitch Prime, if you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime, and with Twitch Prime comes access to a certain amount of cataloged games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just another way to just keep rolling into Amazon Prime.
They could just be they could do things too, promotions where if you are, I don't know, who's a prominent Twitch streamer now that didn't
leave to go to Mixer?
Didn't leave to go to Mixer.
Doc.
They could go, all right, Doc's running a special promotion, he's got a deal going with COD where, if you're a subscriber to Doc's channel, you can play COD for the weekend free,
Yeah, there's a lot they could potentially do to leverage a lot of benefits out of it.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's their whole thing. Got to get it to work first.
Number 5. We're following the BioWare story.
Oh, you guys want to hear about BioWare? This is the BioWare episode or BioWare section of the podcast where Matt tells us something about BioWare and Nate goes, "Who fucking cares?"
Exactly. There's multiple things in this podcast coming up that Nate's not going to enjoy.
I'm sorry you are listening. But if you're listening and you get enjoyment out of my misery, you're about to love the next few probably.
I think a lot of people would enjoy that.
My misery is entertaining. I do acknowledge that my misery is entertaining. And my misery is entertaining to the point where I will allow misery to happen to me because I like making people laugh, Matt. It's like playing a piccolo.
Well, let me tell you about BioWare that you don't care about.
Please, Matt. Tell me how great Mass Effect Andromeda and Mass Effect 3's ending were. Anthem didn't launch with any problems. Can't wait to see what the next one is. We didn't move Star Wars, the Old Republic, off of our servers and off of our plate because we didn't know what to do with it after we launched. Can you imagine? Sorry, go ahead.
Former BioWare general manager Aaron Flynn has elaborated on some of the issues presented by the Frostbite engine, comparing EA's internal technology to an F1 racing car for both its huge power and the difficulty of extracting a peak level of performance. Flynn was one of the keynote speakers at Reboot Develop Red in Banff, Canada.
Badass mother.
Banff.
Oh, in Banff, Canada.
Yeah.
Has a really beautiful lake.
Does it?
Yes. It's like, if you see lakes on Reddit or pictures.
I've never heard of Banff, Canada.
I believe it's Banff National Park.
Okay.
I can't remember. Now it's really bugging me. I can't remember the name of the lake. Beautiful, serene. Definitely a destination we need to go to. It's like above Montana, I think.
Okay.
I think it's that far out.
I'm a
little rough on my Canadian geography. Forgive me. Nova Scotia's an island.
I will look it up after.
After that, I got nothing else.
Let's see here. His talk was broadly about the value of good, efficient tools and making the best games. With Flynn describing the subject as, quote, the most important thing to game developers nowadays, end quote. Flynn compared the Frostbite engine to a Formula One car, which can move incredibly fast and represents the pinnacle of a certain kind of tech. However, F1 cars are also very difficult to run at their peak and prone to issues that need to be tended to by large groups of specialists. And I have a quote that I pulled to shorten this so that we don't have to talk about it forever. Quote, we couldn't seem to find our footing with the tools in this case, and the frustrating part was this was all on my watch as general manager, and I had to think a lot about when I was finally out of electronic arts, I had to think a lot about why was that? Why was it so hard to make these tools? I have a history of making tools. What was I missing? End quote. And as a side note, BioWare appears to be rebranding itself. The company's official Twitter account is Adorned with a new, more rounded text logo and a brand new brand design website, brand new, features a whole page of freshly designed assets. It's like this. It's that clean, flat, modern look.
It's the. I hope everybody realizes we're new BioWare and not that old dirty BioWare that made all those bad games.
So it's kind of funny. BioWare is. I'm intrigued with the story of what's happening here because obviously I have a fondness for BioWare, been burned by it a few times now, and it's fun to see how people react now because like I've kind of practiced the art of removing myself from how I feel, and it's interesting to watch.
Matt, we have no emotions.
It's interesting to watch. Like so, everyone received. For the most part, the news about them rebuilding Anthem was received with like a neutral / slightly positive feeling. And then they did the rebrand as well. And that was a big no-no. The rebrand immediately after that news dropping, they should have let that news settle for a while and then rebranded later. The rebrand, people are like, this is fucking like immediately turned everyone off again.
Right.
So that's fun.
In Football Manager, it'd be like yelling and saying, get creative,
Mm-hmm.
which is a shout you can do in game and whatever. You yell, get creative, and then right as that little bonus runs out, you turn around and demand more, which is a different version. And the players just turn around and go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You can't yell at them too much. It doesn't, do some stuff.
Yeah.
There's
cooldown.
Yeah. You gotta space out how you want to talk to people. You gotta hit it with a big, here's Anthem. All right, cool. Give it 3 months.
Yeah.
Get to the Christmas break and then rebrand.
Mm-hmm.
Start the new year. Start 2019, new BioWare. Yeah. New year, new me. Whole thing. Make a whole joke out of it.
Rebrand when Cyberpunk comes out, so fucking literally no one will look at you.
Yeah. Don't even tell people you're rebranding. Just do it. there's a lot of...
Just do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams.
They did that, and Anthem failed. That's a picture.
Dreaming
of Banff National Park.
It's pretty fucking Banff, if you ask me.
Yeah, and that is Lake Moraine, I believe.
Lake Moraine. See, now that I've heard of.
Moraine, Moraine.
Mm-hmm.
That's the like normal lake shot that you'd always see for that Banff National Park.
Man, I need to go places in my life.
I'll marry somebody there someday.
All right, that's.
I'm just gonna get ordained and perform the wedding, though. I'm not gonna be the one getting married.
Oh,
because we know how my life is gonna end up. So I'm just gonna go spend $30 online and find 2 people that want to have a runaway vacation there. It doesn't make me happy, but it makes me money. I'll just charge them $30, and the certificate was free, and then everything after that's profit.
All right, there you go. So if you guys are interested in Nate's,
just let me know. I'll get ordained
ministry business.
I'll tell you what. I'll make a quick ceremony, real quick. You, do. We're out. Let's drink.
Let's do it.
I will say the bare minimum I'm needed to. If you need long-winded speeches, I will also do that. Mind you, we're going to hit the same points a few times, but we'll get through it. Yeah. Some would say the sun rises in the west and sets in the east, but I say, why does it not rise in the east and set in the west? This is the problem with a flat earth. Sir, we're at a wedding. And then I'll just get kicked out immediately. Number 6. Our friends at Rebellion. We got friends at Rebellion.
Okay.
Man, we have friends at Rebellion. Just like play along.
Yeah. That guy.
Yeah. They've made games we've enjoyed.
I know.
I'm going to call them friends until they tell me to stop with a restraining order of some kind.
I like that. All right, cool.
I'm not doing anything aggressive. I'm just saying they're friends, Friend of the show that has never heard of us, Rebellion, is expanding into a new industry with the launch of Rebellion Unplugged, a new division dedicated to board games. The UK publisher and developer already produces video games, books, comics, and has branched into TV and film production. Now the firm is capitalizing on the rising popularity of tabletop games by bringing its IP to this market. Rebellion Unplugged's first release will be Sniper Elite, the board game. based on the firm's popular World War II shooters. An early version will be playable at PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia next month, with a Kickstarter campaign due to launch in early 2020. Nate would like to comment and say he will probably back this if it looks substantial, because why not? Also will comment that I hope bullet time is me throwing something at you.
You'll probably be able to play it, actually. I mean, if they're doing Unplugged,
if they do it at Plugged,
then...
they might do it at East, but they might not. Unplugged is the board game one.
Yeah.
So they may not.
We shall see.
Yeah, I'm not going to hold my breath on.
You shall see. I'll be home.
I told you to do it, man. I told you to come.
I know. Oh well. Decisions were made, not by me. It's fine.
No, I think they were made by you and wary of the other party.
Yeah.
More because you didn't want to get 90 lashings again. No, I hope bullet time, though, is like just me picking up a piece and throwing it at your face.
I'm curious how they're going to implement.
What if it's zombies? Zombie Sniper Elite instead of just regular Sniper Elite. I'm assuming it's a... You know what? I'm not going to assume. I'm just going to be happy with whatever they do.
Okay.
Or hope to be happy by whatever they do.
Yeah, we'll go with that way.
I've enjoyed every Sniper Elite I've played.
Yeah, I think Sniper Elite's super fun. I mean,
I still have the Zombie Army trilogy that we've never
obviously
never touched.
Yeah,
never touched. Never killed Zombie Hitler.
Awkward. Well, we still have.
Can you imagine if we had played God mode? Oh boy, running joke of the show.
We still have to finish Wolfenstein.
Yeah, we do. That'll probably be a good Thanksgiving weekend. Oh, no, it won't. You do not have the same schedule as me.
Yes. Twist that knife.
I'm sorry. As you're just like
I don't
falling
have
off
a Thanksgiving week.
as you're falling off the cliff and like my hand is not even outstretched. It's just in my pocket. Like, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do.
I'm sorry. My hands are full with these controllers.
as you're clearly still holding on, you haven't even started falling yet. I'm like, there's nothing. I got nothing to do.
Controller and turkey leg. Oh.
What? No. Then you dirty the controller. Matt, I know you well enough to know that
I haven't eaten Thanksgiving in years. I don't know anymore.
That's not even what I was going to say. I'm saying I know you well enough to know that you would never eat dirty food or food that would mess with your hands and then touch a keyboard or controller.
No, I have. I actually keep. What the hell is it called? Antibacterial hand sanitizer, because I don't like when my hands get too greasy or sweaty.
Yeah.
Got a hand sanitizer, dry them all up. Continue.
Yeah, give it a little nice clean. Because as we all know, Cheeto dust. I never understood the idea of Mountain Dew and Doritos as the gamer's food. Mountain Dew's fine. Doritos? Do you want orange hands? Do you want Trump hands playing on your controller? Then you have Trump controller. Worst combination of both things. You can play like a raptor. But, nobody wants to do that. Anyway.
Yeah.
Ooh, this one's long.
Kind of. I just broke it down so it's easier to just bang through it real quick.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about this story. But how could I forget when I have fucking Matt on this podcast
2
as
years
a co-host?
And 9 months after announcing it would build 3 full-length VR games.
Surprised it knows what that number is.
A number that Valve Software has historically never been able to count to before.
I love that I make the joke and then Matt reads it.
One of the most exciting announcements in VR's short history so far.
The only exciting announcement?
The company has not today. This is written terribly. The company has announced Half-Life Alyx.
It's not 3.
The first new game in the acclaimed Half-Life series is well over a decade. Actually, it's been... It doesn't matter. The first game, which takes place between the first and second Half-Life games. It's the latest entry in the franchise, obviously, since episode 2 of Half-Life 2, which was in 2007.
So, I just want to be clear, Matt.
Yes.
This takes place between 1 and 2.
Yes. It's a prequel of sorts.
That is fucking great.
Yes.
I'm already smiling at just the terribleness that is.
So,
people, I can't wait for it. This is a Half-Life. No, it's not. Not Half-Life 3. You ain't getting it. It's never happening.
This is, I read a developer or someone at Valve, maybe, I don't know who it was, but said that this is more or less testing the waters to see if people would be receptive to an actual Half-Life 3. So basically they're saying, can we make a game good enough to please people? Like,
yeah, no, you can't.
Yeah, we'll see.
Just don't do it.
According to Valve, we can expect Alex to launch in March of 2020, and the title will be compatible with all PC VR headsets, but it will be free for owners of the Valve Index. So I'm just going to run through all the important shit about the game. The minimum system requirements was announced or released, whatever the hell you want to say, for you nerds out there who care about this stuff. The processor, the minimum system requirement for processor is a Core i5 7500 or a Ryzen 5 1600. 12 gigs of memory is the minimum, and then graphics card, it's GTX 1060 or an RX 580, and they just specify 6 gigs of VRAM as a minimum.
And that's minimum, which means that is chugging.
Yes.
VR minimums are not the same as desktop minimums.
Yes.
You do not want to be looking at those going, hey, those are the things I have. I can play this. No.
Yes. I'm genuinely curious because historically the Source engine, and this is supposed to be on the Source 2, is very well optimized.
The Apex runs great.
So I'm curious to see how that plays out, how this plays out, because they also did the minimum system requirements, and then has not said anything about recommended. And people have asked, like journalists and stuff, have asked,
which makes that scary.
Yes,
they're
because
like, we know we got it running on this, got it running,
yeah,
but we recommend 2080s. Like, I'm just waiting for that line.
Yeah, I'm expecting. Well, if a 1060 is the minimum, I'm assuming they're going to say recommended is a 2070 or 2070 Super.
Yeah.
And then obviously that's like medium at ideal frame rate is recommended.
Right. Yeah. Recommended is usually your middle ground.
Yeah.
So there's a chance you almost couldn't push high end.
It wouldn't be worth it, especially with VR, because VR is like...
VR gets real weird.
Yeah. You'll be wielding a way to manipulate gravity once again in the form of gravity gloves.
Cool. You guys remember those Super Nintendo Power Gloves? You're welcome.
That's what it looks like. Here's a couple quotes
we found them in the dumpster because nobody uses them anymore.
Some quotes from the Valve programmer, David Speyer. It's not a side story nor an episodic one. It's the next part of the Half-Life story in a game around the same length as Half-Life 2.
It's literally not the next part, David.
Well, it does take place before the events of Half-Life 2. We actually recommend that you play through Half-Life 2 Episode 2 before you play Half-Life Alyx for reasons that will become clear as you progress.
So that way we don't spoil Episode 2 Part 2 for you. I'm betting that's exactly what it is.
It's a possibility. So the way the Half-Life story works, it kind of branches, specifically during the episode. So like, you get the main character is Dr. Gordon Freeman doing his thing, and then Alex comes in Half-Life 2 and becomes like a pretty substantial secondary character.
What happens in Episode 2?
That's the infamous fucking cliffhanger where like. It's a pretty, by modern standards, it's a pretty standard story where
What's the cliffhanger?
You find the solution to kick the Combine out, but it's in a remote place and it has to do with like a ship and you have to get there. And like basically it ends with, I don't even remember exactly how it ends. It's just like you are teleporting there or something, doing some weird thing that goes haywire.
Alex involved at all?
She is, yeah.
G-Man?
Always around, lurking.
Head crabs?
Yeah, head crabs, of course. Always head crabs.
Crowbars? Crates?
Crates, yes. Crowbar, no.
So do you think they're saying, we're going to pick it up from there, but it's also not 3?
No, I think I think it's
or
going
is
to
it the
be
stuff leading up to that cliffhanger, and then
Yeah.
they also still end this on the
Yeah.
same exact cliffhanger? That
That's-
would be perfect for me.
I think they're basically going to fill in why everything where you're going is significant.
But you still end up in the cliffhanger.
Yes. That's totally what I'm expecting.
I love that they would just go, we're going to end this shit the same way we ended the other one. And everybody just go, no, God, why? No.
And the last quote is, of course, we'll have to wait and see how people react to Half-Life Alyx once it's out, but we'd love to continue pushing forward.
Yeah, because you haven't still told us what the other 2 VR titles are.
Yeah.
So, Half-Life Gordon, Half-Life G-Man. There's your other 2 titles.
There'll be advantages to using Valve's Index VR controllers. Valve's Bronwyn Grimes told Upload VR that
That's a strong name.
It is a strong name.
Bronwyn Grimes.
It's a very video game name.
It's
too.
I picture him being the guy that showed up into the old West town. They've heard of him, but they've never seen him. And there's like, Grimes is the name. Bronwyn. They're like, Bronwyn Grimes. It's been a long time we've been looking for you.
Maybe it's Half-Life Bronwyn Grimes. Will be the last one.
No, it's just Half-Life Grimes.
Upload VR, he said that, quote, fun but not required interactions will, end quote, interactions like being able to crush a can in your hand won't be available on other controllers. Which is weird. You can play in room scale, sitting, or standing. There's 3 movement styles. You can teleport, you can shift, which is smoothly zoom from point A to point B, or you can just walk continuously. And you can use trigger-based controllers or finger tracking controllers. The game will use the Source 2 engine, and they will provide a set of tools for anyone to build their own new levels. It's a $60 game, $54 if you pre-order, and it's free for Index owners. And that's the long and short of it.
I'm 110% super intrigued to see how this all goes. I have no horse in the race other than to want to.
I was going to say, that's not 100% true.
I don't have a true horse in the race. I'm the guy hoping that one of the horses gets shot with a trank halfway around turn 2.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't have any true. I didn't put money on the race. I'm just here for a good time and some drama. And I'm really hoping somebody's trying to rig the race and shoots the horse in the ass with a tranquilizer around turn 2, and then the whole thing becomes a CSI episode.
I'm clearly interested, obviously, but I am unwilling to drop heavy amounts of coinage on something that's not. It has to be clearly worth it,
right?
So,
do we believe that trailer, which is a beautiful trailer, plays that smooth and is on the minimum settings? It is on minimum hardware, I mean.
No, absolutely not. I'm assuming the trailer that we see that's what you get if you have the best. I don't want to say the best, but if you have like
damn close,
like a 2080. That's what I'm expecting.
Super, probably.
I'm gonna just say 2080 because I'll give them a little bit of a benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, there's also no way that I think plays as smooth as it showed. They showed
at all.
They showed. I mean, it might visually do that. I do not believe that the touch controls will be as good as they were. Unless this guy ran through that demo perfect numerous times to get all those cuts correct. I cannot believe, and this isn't necessarily the game's fault, but it also will come into like the fault of the player. So I can't I can't blame the game 100%. But you see him clip a gun, pull, and shoot flawlessly.
I have faith simply because
without doing what you see other games do, which is a select point and click to snap grab a clip.
Mm-hmm.
You see him just reach down and do it, and I'm like, that is not how that's going to work. Or it might work, but it might not be that.
I have faith for two 2 reasons again. Here we go. 2 reasons.
I said 2 reasons. Reason number 1.
The gravity gloves kind of gives them a excuse to have like some sort of pull. And the second one is it's Valve, so that they're probably using the index during that trailer,
right.
And the index controllers have like crazy finger tracking button crap. So.
But it's just like there's just things where I'm like, I can't think that it's going to work exactly that way, or they're not going to factor in potentially for one thing that will horribly break everything else.
Yeah.
Like one guy will just be like, well, what if I just did this? And he does it, and they're like, well, that's the game. Like,
Yeah, I'm curious. The thing it's interesting for me from a practical standpoint is I was basing my computer upgrades around Cyberpunk, which is launching in April.
Right.
And now there's this, which is coming in March, and it kind of shifted my focus. Like, all right, so if this is going to be worth it, then I need to kind of.
I mean, in theory, you should be roughly around the same specs.
Yeah, same. That's what I'm assuming as well. So
it's just going to be your timeline. Well, your timeline has shifted.
Depending if it's worth it, it might force. Depending on what the industry is doing, I might do a video card upgrade sooner than anticipated.
Why? Are you on a 20 series?
Yeah, 2060. But if it's one of those situations to where I find that it's not worth the conversation on the podcast. But the long story short is I am finding that it's not. I like to run everything at high settings and have I don't want to give up the frame rate.
Is your 2060 clocked lower than my 1070 Ti?
No, it's my 2060 runs pretty high on clocks. It's just, I don't know for sure. I gotta. Experiment.
I still don't think you need a graphics card. I think you need a new processor.
I agree. That's definitely the core issue. But I'm thinking I don't want to sacrifice visual fidelity and frame rate, and I'm finding that even on GPU heavy games that don't really care about the processor too much, I'm finding that I can't maintain a high frame rate with high settings as well.
I'm intrigued. We'll talk about this more in a minute.
Okay.
But yeah, that's all I got. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Bonus episode coming up next. We're going to talk Game of the Year stuff. Only in terms of how it relates to the Game Awards. We didn't do it now because we're going to probably take like 30 minutes to get through it. But it'll be an entire episode on its own. So we'll talk to you guys in a bit. Bye.